We're going to start with number 6. We'll do 6 and 7, and we'll see what's going on here. So let's... It says, given that M and N are parallel to each other... Okay, bless you. Again. Alright, so there's your two lines. This is M and N. This is M and N. It says, given that they're parallel, given that M and N is parallel to each other. Do you see it written there? Yes. Yes. Was that you sneezing? What? You got to work on that sneeze, man. All right. Angle 8. Let's see. Where's angle 8? It's right there. So which one is the transversal? If I'm talking about angle 8 and angle 13, which one is my transversal then with this picture? Look at the picture. Look at it. Everybody look at it. I've got M and N. Which one is the transversal? Say it. It's T, right. T is the transversal. So make sure when you look at the angles, you know which one you're talking about. All right, so that's your transversal right there. That's T. Angle 8 is this angle right there. And angle, what's the other one they give you? 13. It says find angle 13, right? And that's this angle right there. All right, so here's what we get. They got a whole bunch of other stuff on this picture, don't they? So I just redraw it just with the stuff that they give me and what I'm trying to find. It just makes things a lot easier, wouldn't you agree? Doesn't have all that junk all over the place. So they tell you what angle 8 is equal to. So let's put it in there. So angle 8 is 86 degrees. So let's just do this in another color. All right, 86 degrees. That's what that angle is right there. And they're asking you to find this angle right here. So remember, they are parallel lines. It says, given that line M is parallel to N, and you have to determine what's going on here. Now, this is a big problem. I saw this on the quiz. Some of you guys don't know when to set things equal to each other and when to add things up and set them equal to 180. Right? I think some of you guys are just saying, well, you know what? Most of the time they're equal to each other, so I'm just going to mark them equal to each other and just hope for the best. Well, don't just hope for the best. Know when to add them up and set them equal to 180, and know when to set them equal to each other. So what do we have in this situation? This 86 and this 13. First of all, let's just look at what the angles look like. Look at this 86, and knowing that it's 86 degrees tells you what type of angle it is. What type of angle is it? It's acute, isn't it? That's an acute angle, because an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Look at this angle 13 right here. See this angle? What is that? Look at it. It's obtuse, isn't it? This is acute, and this is obtuse. Would we ever set them equal to each other? Absolutely not. Okay, an acute angle will never, ever, under any circumstances, equal an obtuse angle. Do you hear that? An acute will never equal an obtuse. But what's true about these? These are called, give me the name. They don't ask you to know the name, but just so that I know that you know. What is the name, the relationship between these two angles right here? They're consecutive interior angles. That's right. And what did we learn about consecutive interior angles when you have parallel? They're supplementary. They add up to 180. Absolutely. So they add up to 180. Now watch. Instead of calling this angle 13, let's just call it something else. Let's just call it like X or something. Is that all right? Because that's what we're trying to solve for, right? So let's solve for X. So what do I do with these? I add them up and I do what? Set them equal to 180. Or if you wanted to do it really quick, instead of actually setting it up like that, what could you just do to find what this is equal to? If they're supplementary, yeah, just take it away from 180. Agree? And let's see, what is that? That's a 4, and that's a what, 9? Is that right? 94 degrees, did I do that right? Yep. So this angle right here is 94 degrees. That's it. So angle 13, that was angle 13, equals 94 degrees. Again, you have to know when to make them equal and when to add them up and set them equal to 180. All right? It's very important. What if they asked for this angle right here? We'll call this Y. Yeah, you don't have to do any math. You don't have to do any work, do you? You just look at it. Okay, you know how I always bug you? Show your work, show your work. On this one, you don't have to show your work. 86 and Y are the same. Tell me why. WHY this time. Okay, is Y 86. They're alternate interior angles. Exactly right. So this angle, I should put two arcs here, right? Because they're not equal. But this angle and this angle are equal. There you go. Make sense? All right. Make sure you know that stuff. Review it. Go back. Watch the lesson that I first taught that if you need to. If that's helpful to you, then do that. It wouldn't hurt. That's for sure. going over those. All right, let's see the next one. Let's get rid of all this mess. All right, let's see the next one they give you. It says find the value of x and y given that m and n are parallel again, all right, and angle 4. Now this time, I don't think we're using this transversal, are we? We're using angle 4. What transversal uses angle 4 with m and n? The S, right, and the S kind of looks like that. All right? And what do they tell you? They tell you that angle 4 is equal to 6x minus 5. And if you look at your picture, where is angle 4? Angle 4 is this one right here, isn't it? And they say it's 6x minus 5. So let's write that in there. 6x minus 5. That's what that angle is right there. Okay, so I mark it. That's the best thing to do. Redraw it, just like what I'm doing right here. I would redraw the parallel lines, draw your transversal, and put that angle right in here. All right. That might look a little too ugly with that arrow. Let's just put 6x minus 5. Let's just have it sitting right in there. So we'll just put it right here, 6x minus 5. We good with that? That's that angle right there. What else do they tell you? They tell you angle 10. Well, let's take a look at angle 10. Angle 10 is this one right here, if you look at the picture, and they tell you that is 5x plus 8. 5x plus 8. Before I even look at the next one, let's take a look. Is there a relationship between these two angles? Yeah, they're equal. We just talked about it. They're alternate interior angles. So we'll set them equal to each other, right? Now, do we just set them equal to each other because we're taking a wild guess and we might as well just try to set them equal? No, we know they're equal to each other for a fact. They're both obtuse, right? So you know they're both equal. They're alternate interior angles. Now look at the next one they give you. The next one they give you is angle 9. Angle 9 is this one right next to it, and it's 3y minus 10. And since it's a different letter, let's do a different color. So that's 3y minus 10. All right? Here we go. Let's do the x. We already talked about that. We said since they're alternate interior angles, look, this angle and this angle are equal to each other. So let's set them equal. Some of you guys are still having trouble solving for x. I noticed that on the quiz. So let's set it up. 6x minus 5 equals 5x plus 8. This actually works out really nice and easy because when I subtract the 5x from both sides, it just comes out to be x, right? I don't have to divide by anything. So watch, I subtract a 5x from both sides. I'm not going to go through all the reasoning for this, okay? I've done that plenty in the past. You're going to have to review yourself to understand why we did that, okay? I just don't have time today. That's not what we're trying to review. We're just trying to review the geometry part. So that comes over here, and then I take the plus or the negative 5 and I add a 5 to both sides. Some of you guys are doing the same thing, like you're trying to get rid of a negative 5 and you're subtracting a 5. Some of you guys are doing this. I forget what the number was on the quiz, but it was very, very close to this. Some of you guys are going 6x plus 5x is 11x. I don't know why. I mean, look, you have to, they're on different sides of the equal sign, right? You have to get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? You do the what? Opposite, right? I said I wasn't going to go through all the steps, and I started to, but I'm not going to, I promise. Watch. That all cancels out. What do you get? 6x minus 5x is x equals 8 plus 5 is 13. So there's x right there. All right? It doesn't even ask you to find what those actual angles are, do they? It just says solve for x and y. That's all it says, I believe, right? Yep, find the values of x and y. Now, let's do this one right here. Now, notice, do you see a relationship between, I don't know, this one and this one, or this one and this one? They're supplementary, that's right. Okay, look, this one is supplementary to this one because it forms a straight line, right? This one's supplementary to this one right here because they are, we just talked about it a few minutes ago. What is it? Yeah, they're supplementary, but why? Why are they supplementary? Because what's the relationship between these two angles right here? They are consecutive interior angles, that's right, okay? You could either take this one plus this one, set it equal to 180, or you could take this one plus this one and set it equal to 180. Why? Because both of these angles are the same, aren't they? All right, so it doesn't matter which one you add up. You got to take the purple one, though, and add it to one of the yellow ones and set it equal to 180. Well, let's do this first of all. We're going to have to figure out what that angle is, though, don't we? So let's plug it in. That's right. So anybody know what 6 times 13 is off the top of their head? Somebody do that for me. So 6 times 13, what is it? 78 or something like that? Is it 78? Okay. So what? Yeah, you could do this one as well, if you, excuse me, if you wanted to. Or you could do this. I'm just decided to do this one. It doesn't matter. So 6 times 13, and then what? Minus 5. That's 78, is that what you said? So 78 minus 5 is what? 73. Is that right? That's 18, 6, and 1, 7. Yep, it's 18. Okay. So that's 73 degrees. Now look at this picture, though. Does it really look like it's 73 degrees? No, it looks obtuse, doesn't it? But you can't always go by what it looks like, right? So sometimes they make an obtuse angle actually come out to be less than 90 degrees just because they want to fool you a little bit, make you think a little bit. So don't always go by the picture. Don't look at this and say, oh, that it can't be 73 degrees because that's an obtuse angle. Well, sometimes they put numbers in there that don't always work out the way it looks like they should work out, all right? Just make sure you understand that. So this is 73 degrees right here. This angle right here is 73 degrees. So how do I find this one? What do I do to those two things? I add them up because they're supplementary. I add them up, so that's one angle plus what? The other one equals 180, right? Now what do? We add like terms first. Negative 10 plus 73 is positive 63 equals 180. Subtract 63 from both sides. And that's 3y, and that's 7, and that's a, what? A 17. Is that 9? Does that look right? Did I do that right? Right? 7, 9. Yep, that's right. 97. Did that work out right? What am I doing? 63, subtract 63. No, that's a 117. Or, yeah, what am I doing? 7 minus 6 is 1. What am I doing? You guys got to keep me straight. 117. All right, and 7, 8, 9. Yep, so 3 does go into that. Somebody do that for me real quick. What's 117 divided by 3? Who's got a calculator out? All right, divide both sides by 3. That does come out even. But what does it come out to be? 37? Okay. Is that what somebody else got? Just double check. Yeah, you could have. It doesn't make any difference, though. I mean, it really isn't that much easier. Is it 37? Oh, my goodness. Did you get it? 39. It's 39. Okay. All right. Just double check it. All right. 39. So there you go. So that's what y is equal to. So x is 13 right here, and y is 39 right here. All right. Now, look, don't get bogged down with the algebra, okay? The geometry is pretty easy. How do we solve for x? We just set them equal to each other. Then you do your math, solve for x. How did you solve for y when you knew this and this? They're supplementary, and that's the key. You got to understand that you add them up, right? Set them equal to 180, and then that's just algebra after that. If you wanted to, you could have figured out with this one. It wouldn't have been any different by the time you got here because this is still 73 degrees, right? 13 times 5 is what? 65 plus 8 is 73. So really, it's no more difficult using this. So this is 73, this is 73. You add them up right here, right? You add the two angles up, you set them equal to 180, and boom, you do the math. And have a calculator in front of you. You got a calculator, it makes it easy, right? And I almost hate saying that because I always preach all the time, try to do stuff without a calculator. But if it's a quiz and it's a test, you don't want to get bogged down doing all the basic arithmetic stuff. All right, use a calculator to make sure that you're getting the numbers right. Everybody got it? Okay, let's do some more. Let's take a look at slope. Let's find the slope. You're going to have to do this on several occasions. If you don't know how to find the slope, you're going to be lost on this. So find the slope. Now, what's the big problem that people have? They kind of know the formula, but they mess it up. Where do you think? And I've talked about this many occasions. Where do you think people mess this thing up? Yeah, they put the x on the top and the y on the bottom. But is that the way it's supposed to be? No, it's what over what? Give it to me. Change in y over change in x. Or you can think of it as, use the R words. What is that? Rise over run. Okay, rise over run. Which direction does rise go? Up and down, which is which letter, x or y? So y direction, isn't it? Rise over run. So the y goes on top and the x goes on the bottom. So you take the y's and you subtract them, put them on top. Put the y's on top. Can I say it any louder? Can I say it any more definitively? You got to put the y's on the top. All right? I could probably make some money, put some money down and say, I bet you somebody is going to forget and put the X on the top because it happens every year. I wish it wouldn't. I don't know what else to do to get you to remember this. You got to remember it. The Y's go on the top. and then the x's go on the bottom. Okay? You got to put the y's on the top. What else can I do? I don't know what else. I don't either. So there it is. Let's put... No, did you give it to her? Yeah, she'll give it to me. All right, let's do one of these. What do you want to do? Pick one, 8, 9, or 10. Is there one that bothers you more than the other? 8, 9, and 10? If you don't pick one, I'll pick one. Let's do 10. Oh, too late. I'll pick 10. So here's your 2 points. It's -6 and 14. And then your other one is -3 and 9. So they give you 2 points, and all you got to do is find the slope. Do you have to put it into y equals mx plus b? Do you? What's it say to do? Come on. These aren't hard questions, okay? I'm just trying to get you to respond to me. That's all. They're not really... I just want you to find the slope, right? Because that's what it says right here. It says find the slope. You don't find the equation on the line. You just find the slope. So let's do this. The slope is equal to... It's the change in y's. So that means I just subtract the y's. Which ones are my y's right here? The second one. Okay, this is the x and this is the y. Okay, the first one is the x, the second one is the y. And that's your x and that's your y. So you're going to subtract the y's from each other. That's the second one. All right, goes in alphabetical order. X first, then y. So you subtract them. Does it matter what order you subtract them in? Doesn't make any difference. But if you subtract the y's in a certain order, talk to me. You got to subtract the x's in the same order. Right, okay? So I usually... write it y1 minus y2. A lot of books, and this book probably too, but I don't care how they write it. I always write it y1 minus y2. Some books write y2 minus y1. I think that's too confusing. I just say take the first y, subtract the second y from it, right? Don't you think that's easiest? And I don't care which one's bigger, which one's negative, which one's positive. I always take the first one minus the second one, just to be consistent, to make it easy. So what is it? It's 14 minus 9. That's the y's, isn't it? Put the y's where? On the top. Okay, now I do the x's and put it on the bottom. So here are my x's, and I'll subtract them. Now you got to be a little bit careful with this. What is it? It's -6 what? Minus -3. That's right. It's not just -3. So that's another mistake people make. All right, I'm trying to point those out to you so you don't make the same mistakes. So it's -6 minus -3. So now we can do this. 14 minus 9 is what? 5? Over, what do you do here? Plus, plus, right, okay? Add the opposite is what I always say. Add a line, change sign, okay, whatever. But I always taught it add the opposite. It's kind of quick, easy, makes sense, doesn't it? You like add a line, change sign better just because it's cute and it rhymes? That's the only reason? Right. But add the opposite's quicker. It's not as cute, but I'm not, you know, I don't teach like cute little things. I mean, that's not how I think. But anyway, here you go. It's -3. So what's the slope? That's it. You can just leave it like that. If you wanted to, you could put -5. Is that the same thing? Yep. You could put the negative right in front of there and do that. Is that the same thing? Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. Look, it came out like this. I would just keep it like this, tell you the truth. You got it? So you're going to have several problems on the quiz where all you got to do is find the slope. I give you 2 points. You got to find the slope. Let's do one I don't think is in the book. Let me see. Nope, it's not on the worksheet, but let me make one up for you, okay, just to get you thinking a little bit. Let's do this. -3, 1, and 5, 1. All right? Everybody try that. I'll give you 10 seconds. Ready? Go. Do it. Write it down. Find the slope. You're finding the slope. You're finding the slope. Okay, so how'd you get 0? Let's put the numbers in. It's 1 minus 1. And then you put this in, it's what? Okay, but what's -3 minus 5? It's not 2. It's not -2. It's -8. So what's 1 minus 1? That's the important part. That's 0 over -8. Now look, what is 0 over anything? Put it in your calculator, Cleo. What's 0 over -8? It's 0. So your answer is 0. Don't leave it like this, okay? Simplify it. Don't leave it 0 over -8. Put equals 0. Everybody got that? I don't know. I wouldn't take a chance though. If I were you, she asked, "Will I take points off if you left it like this?" I tell you what, I've told you over and over again not to leave it like that. So I could take points off. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of a softie anyway, and I usually let you go on stuff like that. But because you did all the stuff right. But look, this, you will have teachers that if you write it like this, they won't mark it right. Okay? So make sure you do this. Now, on this next one, I promise you I'll take point off if you don't do it this way. So watch this one. Let's go 7, -2, and let's go 7, 5. All right, let's take a look at this one. Again, I'll give you 5 seconds this time. Go. Do it.
-3 over 0.
All right, so how'd you get that? Is it -3? It doesn't matter because, well, actually it won't. It won't ever be -3.
3.
Why did I put plus anyway? Minus. So it's negative. Watch, it's -2 minus 5, right? Because it's the y's over the x's. And then the bottom is what? 7 minus 7. Let's do this. -2 minus 5 is -7. What's 7 minus 7?
0.
Do you leave it like this?
No.
Is your answer 0? Cleo, put that in your calculator.
No, it's
-7 divided by 0. What does your calculator say? It says error, doesn't it? Okay, it says error on the calculator. So we don't circle this. We don't say it's equal to 0. We say, I got a couple times. Don't say error. You could say it's undefined, or you could say it's what? No slope. Those are the two choices that I'm going to give you, okay? So you either say it's undefined or you say it's no slope. Don't do this. If you circle that, I'm going to mark it wrong because I'm tired of that, all right? I've told you many, many times. You cannot divide by 0. Take any number you want and put it over 0 on a calculator and you won't get an answer. It'll say error, all right? So undefined or no slope. Don't put 0 slope. This is not 0 slope. This is a vertical line. Remember we talked about skiing? This is not, you won't go 0 miles per hour. You're going to be undefined if you hit the bottom of this slope, right? Or of this non-slope. It's not even a slope. Got it? Okay, this is 0 slope. It's a horizontal line. A horizontal line is 0 slope. Caitlin? Doesn't matter as long as you do the x's in the same order. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, so you could have gone 5 minus -2, which would give you +7, but it would still go 7 minus 7 is 0. All right, so it doesn't matter if you go the first one minus the second one or the second one minus the first one, as long as you do the x's in the same order. Okay? All right with that? All right. Tell you what, if you guys don't get that right now, after all that stuff, I don't know what else I can do. You're on your own now. All right? You've got to study it yourself. You got to make sure that you get this stuff straight. All right? All right, now let's talk about, let's do a little bit more with slope real quick, okay? Let's do this orange, stands out. Let's do 11 to 13. I'll let you pick. You got 2 seconds. Ready, go. 11 to 13, which one?
13.
13? I heard 13 first. All right, so here's what they tell you. They say determine whether line CS and line KP are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. All right, so here's what they give you. They give you point C. Yes. I'm pretty sure. I don't have the test in front of me. I can't exactly remember. But I'm pretty sure that you'll have to do something like this. K is 3, 3. And P is 9, 7. Now look, if you can do the stuff that we just finished doing, finding the slope between 2 points, you can do this. All right, it's not that hard. Look, CS, which one is CS? It's this one right here. That makes up a line, doesn't it? Those 2 points make up a line. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to tell whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Do we just take a 1 out of 3 chance and just roll the dice and hopefully we get the right answer? No. All right, let's figure out how to do it. So what do we do to tell if these lines right here are parallel to each other? Find the slopes, right? That's all we got to do is find the slopes of those lines. So here's these 2 points. Let's find the slope of this line. All right, change in y, we're changing x. So what is it? It's -7 minus -5. See that? Subtracted the y's from each other. Now subtract the x's from each other. -6 minus -3. Let's do the math on it. That's add the opposite. That's -2. Add the opposite here. That's -3. And that's your slope. So your slope is 2 over 3, right? Positive 2 over 3. So that's the slope of this line. It's not my answer, though, is it? but it's a way to get to the answer. Now we have to do the same thing over here. Find the slope of this line. Change in y over change in x. 3 minus 7. The x is 3 minus 9. Look what we get. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Reduce it. Always reduce it. It's positive what? 2/3. Now look. This slope is 2/3. This slope is 2/3. What does that tell me about those two lines? If they have the same slope, they're parallel to each other. That's right. If the slopes are the same, they're parallel. All right, so that's our answer right there. They are parallel. What if? I'll give you a big what if right here. Let's do it in different colors so that it looks different. Let's pretend it was different. And let's say your slope came out to negative 3/2 over here. Okay, so I'm looking at this as 2/3 and this is negative 3/2. Now this one doesn't come out that way. I'm just saying what if. Now what could you say about these two lines? They're perpendicular. Those two lines would be perpendicular. Why? Because they are the negative reciprocals, right? Okay, so the blue one, I'll just write it in blue. They would be perpendicular, wouldn't they? All right, just one more. What if, let's use this purple. What if I said the slope of this one was like negative 2/3? Now look at the relationship between this one and this one. Are they the same? No, they're not, because this is positive, this is negative, so they're not the same. Are they negative reciprocals of each other? No, this is negative, right? This is the opposite sign, but are they reciprocals? No, so what would you say if this was one slope and this was the other? You would say neither. Okay? Everybody got that?
Yep.
All right. We've got about 5 more minutes, so bear with me. Stay awake, keep your head up. I'm taking a test tomorrow on this stuff, so I would pay attention if I were you. This time, they ask you to put this thing in slope-intercept form. Tell me the easy way. What's slope-intercept form, real quick? Yeah, that's y equals mx plus b. That's slope-intercept form. So look what they tell you. Look, this one, it doesn't get any easier than this one. This is as easy as it gets. This is number 15 on the worksheet. So they tell you the slope, and they actually tell you the y-intercept. The y-intercept is positive 3. Look, does it get any easier than that? It doesn't. There's no work involved. It's just a matter of looking at it. Look, I know the slope, and I know the y-intercept. So just plug them in. So what's my answer? Y equals what? Negative 9. You put an x right there, and then the y-intercept is 3. Just put a plus 3, and that's your answer. So if they give you the slope and they give you the y-intercept, they've given you everything you needed to know. You didn't have to show any work. Okay, like on the worksheets. Right? There were a couple problems where they gave you everything. You just plug it into the formula, and you're done. There's no work to show there. Just write the answer down. Simple, wasn't it? What if they do this, though? What if they, this is number 16. What if they give you the slope, but then it says this line contains the point negative 1, 5. Now, that's not the y-intercept, is it? All right? They do tell you the slope, so they give you half of this stuff. So if they give you a half of it, what's the other half we're trying to find? The b, the y-intercept, right? Okay? So how in the world do we do that? There's a couple ways to do it. I think this is the easiest. Let's put it in slope-intercept form again. Now, they do give you a point. In this little formula right here, what do you think in this formula represents that point? The x and the y. You got it. That's the x and that's the y. So look, they give you 3 things out of the 4, don't they? They give you the m, we're going to put that in right there. They give you the x, we'll put that negative 1 right there. They give you the y, we'll put that 5 right there. And what can we solve for then? The b. That's the only thing that's left over. Everybody seeing that? So let's plug and chug, right? Let's stick stuff in. What are we putting in for y? 5. What are we putting in for m? What is that 3 doing to the x? It's multiplying, right? And the x is negative 1. And then we put what? Plus b. Look how easy this is now. 5 equals 3 times negative 1. It's negative 3 plus b. What do we do now? Add a 3 to both sides, right? Get b by itself. Add a 3 to both sides. So what's b equal to? 8. We don't circle that. That's not our answer because it says write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So it's got to look like y equals mx plus b. So now we know the slope right here. We know the y-intercept. Let's put them together and make an equation of a line. So we write what? Y equals 3x. And then what's my y-intercept? It's positive 8, so I put a plus 8. And that's my answer right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? If you know what all the stuff stands for. If you know what the stuff stands for, if you know what the slope is, you put it right here. You know this point is the x and a y, so you stick it right here and here, and you know you're trying to find the y-intercept. Plug it in, solve it, and write it nice and pretty in a slope-intercept form. We good? All right, let's do another one. We got time to do one more. Now again, we didn't finish all of this, so go to the 5th period YouTube, and I'll probably start at number 19 in that class. All right, and then so you can look at the 5th period YouTube for the stuff that we didn't get to today. But here's the last type. They give you the x-intercept. So that's a little different. They say the x-intercept is 3, but they tell you also the y-intercept. They shouldn't be packing up. Okay, we're not finished. The y-intercept is -1. And we're trying to write this in slope-intercept form again. Y equals mx plus b. Well, let's think about what the x-intercept is. Look, they already give you one thing, don't they? Look, they give you the y-intercept. So where are we going to put that? In for the b. So I'm good there. What in the world is this x-intercept thing? Well, let's draw a little picture just to think about it just a second. Where is the x-intercept? It's where it crosses the what? The x-axis. So the x-intercept would be right here. What's the actual point, the ordered pair of that point? Is it? Yeah, you got to make sure you get it right, because 0, 3 would be up here, wouldn't it? You could have something like this on the test, sure. So watch. What is this point right here? It's 3, 0. Now it looks just like the problem we just finished doing, because, well, kind of. They give you one thing, right? And what do we know for the x and the y here? We know that's x and we know that's y. And so what are we going to actually solve for now? We're going to solve for, what don't we know? The m. We're going to solve for m. Okay? There's other ways you could do this, but let's just do it like this for right now. So what are we going to put in for y? 0. What are we going to put in for m? M. Don't know what it is, right? Times x. What's x? 3. And then what? B is -1. It's -1, right? So we put -1. So let's write, hold on, 3m minus 1. What do we do? Add a 1 to both sides, right? So 1 equals 3m, divide by 3. So m is 1/3. How do we write our problem? Y equals 1/3 x minus 1. There it is. No, I'm going to collect it tomorrow. Use it to study from. I will collect it tomorrow. Bring it to class tomorrow.